Your mic is, you're muted, General Khurana. Let unmute yourself. We can't see you. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear you well.
I can hear.
Yeah, great. Good morning.
I can hear you.
Yeah, your voice is not that clear, so that's where I'm getting worried before I start. Is your internet?
How is it now?
Great. Good morning in US. Great. Good morning in USA, Canada. Good afternoon in UK, Europe, Africa. Good evening in Asia Pacific, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. And of course, I always mention about Afghanistan, but presently Afghanistan is a mess, very close to my heart, the place. A late good evening in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly welcome someone most respected, most daring, one of the great professionals I have met in my life. He has been truly a mentor to me when I used to work in India and part of Vice President Delhi Management Association. And at that point of time, I used to work a lot with General Khurana. And I am welcoming him to this prime time leadership excellence series called New DNA of Leadership. Welcome, sir. General Khurana, sir. Sir, your voice is not clear.
Thank you. I can hear you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now clear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's okay. Now
Hello?
it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay, fine. I'll get closer.
Yes.
If you can hear me now, it's okay?
Yes, it's okay now. I can see a lot of people known to us are already on Zoom and other channels. I can see our Dr. Asha Bhandarkar. You know, she is been one of your very respected professors, facilitator, teacher. And when I sent her the message, she said, lovely, I want to be there. And I wish to tell you that she was also on this show near about 5-6 months back. And she talked about 3 T's, which I never forget, and which I communicate to the world: trust, transparency, and togetherness. Asha ji, welcome. I can see even Deen Dayalan from Bangalore. Deen is again a very respected name. I can see Dinesh Khanaji. I can see Bhuvan Upreti ji, Avinash Singh, Alag Saab. I can see Advocate Khurana Saab. I can see in Narula, the Director of Global Talent Thailand there. I can see Kiran Sahai Saab there. I can see Komal Sibal there. I can see Poonam Verma ji there. I can see Rahija ji there. I can see Rajesh Singh there. I can see Sunil Chandra ji there. I can see Suresh Rao Saab there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and people are joining on the Facebook, on the Global Talent Television, and on the YouTube. Let me quickly, but I can't actually do it quickly because the personality which is in front of me is one of a very profound personality, but I need to give a justice to quickly introduce General Khurana. General Khurana studied Bachelor of Engineering, Electronic and Communication, and Masters of Science. His professional experience has been 1951 to 91, Corps of Signal, Indian Army. I salute you, sir. 91 to 93, Institute of Directors, India. 95 to 2006, All India Management Association, IMA. I used to be in IMA every week. 2004 onwards, Asian Association of Management Organization. When you look at General Khurana, he could hold the positions of General Officer Commanding Infantry Division, Indian Army, Director General at the IOD, and Director General at All India Management Association, and of course the Secretary General at AAMO. When you look at his awards and prizes, Ati Vishwastasena Medal for Service of Exceptional Order by President of India, Commendation Card by Chief of Army Staff for Services of Exceptional Order, Lifetime Achievement Award in Management by World HRD Congress, Competition Success Review Gold Medal Award as Superior Brain Super Personality in India, India Brand Summit Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Industry, ITM Business School Award as India's Greatest HR Professional, NIMT Condemnation Award 99. When you look at his background of army and then the background of corporate world, wherein in the army, he worked, various appointments at Army College Combat, Defense Service College. He is known as highly decorated soldier. And he was commended for his very exceptional work all along the career of Indian Army. And then finally, he has been the mover and shaker, I call it, of national management movement. Because I was young at that point of time, entering Delhi Management Association, bubbling with a lot of energy. And he was sitting at the top seat of, All India Management Association as the Director General. And going and meeting him was always a pleasure indeed and a full of learning. And he always gave a lot of respect to the youngsters from that point of view. Having said that, so he has been a great linkage. General Khurana has a great linkage between India and 30 countries in all continents and interacted with professional managers around the world. He addressed sessions in Tokyo, Singapore, Malaysia, 5 conferences in Switzerland. He did visit us in Bangkok, and he did visit my global talent company, Bangkok, as well. I still have those memories and pictures of that, visit of General Khurana. So I can go on and on, but I can say there's a huge list of his achievements, publications, addresses, and finally I will say he is the one among all those big names for Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award and Excellence in Public Administration 2008. And this award has been conferred to people like Dr. Manmohan Singh, Ratan Tata ji, Azim Premji ji, Mukesh Ambani ji, Ajit Haksar Saab, KV Kamath Saab, Dr. Kurian, Arun Mehra Saab, Narayan Murthy Saab, Rusi Modi Saab, N.K. Singh Saab, and Padma Shri Pritam Singh Saab. So that is where, ladies and gentlemen, the background of such a profound personality is. I have no words, General Khurana, today to express my sincere gratitude to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
General Khurana, we will spend an hour together,
Thank you.
max 65 minutes. I will have questions, and ladies and gentlemen, whosoever is on any platform, please park your questions. I will surely ensure facilitating your questions to General Khurana. And those who are on Zoom, I can unmute you and you can yourself ask questions. I'm really thankful to a large number of people who have joined. And I can see people have joined. I got people joined from Malaysia. I got Catherine from Malaysia. I got Vidya Bhushan from Toronto already there. I got from Durban, I have got people here. I can see Geetika Mishra Geetika is joined from Jakarta. Geetika, good to see you. So wonderful to see you, sir. And my first question goes to you, sir. When I know you, I know your passion for building India. And you as an iconic personality of our country. However, before I move to that, I want to know about your upbringing as a child. We all will be very keen to know about your parents, about your birthplace, about your childhood, about your mentors. Did you plan your life to be an army officer? How did it get crafted? I think we lost General Khurana. Hello? Yeah, I think we are getting him back. Yes, sir. We lost you in between. And you are muted, sir. You need to unmute yourself. Kindly unmute.
I'm sorry for that. Now you can hear me all right?
I can hear you, but
I've unmuted.
Yes, now it's okay. So my
I've
question.
unmuted.
Yeah, but your voice is getting in between. We are not getting you through. Is there some?
But I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. So my question is to going back to your childhood days.
Okay.
How did you grow and glow as a child? Who were your mentors? And tell us about your parents. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you, DK, for your kind words, generous introduction. For me, it's an honor indeed to be on your very prestigious global platform. You're doing a human service, and I want to compliment you for that. And for me, it's truly an honor to be on this special edition. Talking about my childhood, it's a long odyssey. It's an odyssey, a long journey of fun, learning, growing, and of course, some major challenges. DK, I was born in a family of a big landlord in Western Punjab, then Pakistan, a place called Khanewal. My father was a big landlord, and as you probably would know, in the British era, big landlords had a lot of influence and power in their area of jurisdiction. And the British also were very clever. They empowered them with quasi judicial powers, revenue powers, and they literally used them as their eyes and ears to oversee during the war, particularly. You know, there was so much required to be managed during the war. So I had a wonderful start in life in a fairly well-to-do family. I was number 5 in my family with 3 brothers and a sister above me. And I'm told that from day one, I was rather studious, unlike my other brothers who were outdoorish. But our father was very particular that we must all do horse riding. He always kept 3 horses of the best breed at home. And therefore, horse riding was an absolute mandatory thing to be done, which of course served me well in the army later on. So the life carried on. Right from our younger days, we saw our father dispensing justice. He used to tell us the stories in the evening. And what we could make out that it was very just and fair, very compassionate towards the poor people and the needy and the downtrodden. That made an impression on us about just and fairness. My mother was a very pious lady, a lady who brought in a lot of values in us of compassion, of empathy, and of family bonding. So therefore, I was very lucky to be able to pick up these traits which later served me well from my parents. Now, this was not only applicable to what my father did to the public for dispensing justice, but it was equally the same to us brats when the justice was to be delivered to us. So we were not spared either. And though he was empathetic, he was very compassionate towards the poor and the needy. But my God, nobody deviate from the laid down line, you know, of conduct and behavior, social behavior. And the justice was swift and mostly corporal. But the lesson was brought home. So the life continued like this till August 47. You know, on the 14th of August, the partition of India was announced. Our homeland went into Pakistan, and the life turned completely upside down. Those people who used to bow their head and as faithful to my father and to our family became hostile. There was arson, there was looting, there was violence. And the the life totally turned upside down. Now, there was some other lesson which was coming out at that young age. I was just about 11, 12 at that time. All the Hindus and Sikhs of the area got together, and we had a huge compound. So they will all get together with whatever weapons they could muster, and we kids would be made to sit on the top of the roofs with stones, so that when the marauders come, we will throw stones at them. But the spirit that we learned was never give up. Collectively, you can do anything. Never give up. I'm just sort of looking back these 70, 80 years, 70 odd years as to what all unobtrusively came into our genes, learnings. The life continued in that way. Ultimately, one fine day in September 47, I think it was 19th of September, if I remember correct, our father decided that we had to go to India. India. Nobody knew what does it mean to go to India. So we left hearth and home and all the belongings. And one day there was a news that a special train had come at the railway station to take the refugees. Now we were already being termed as refugees to India. So the whole town literally flocked up. The train was overfilled. People were sitting on top of the train. But we were fortunate, courtesy my uncle, who was probably the first Indian Deputy Superintendent Police in Punjab, and my brother, who was a police officer, that we got a special compartment for the police personnel. So our collective family got into that. And that journey, DK, which should have taken us 8 to 10 hours, took us 8 days. We were attacked thrice on the way. We suffered some casualties. Nobody had catered for 8 days worth of rations. But finally, with all these hardships and bad days, we reached Attari station, which was the first station in Indian side. And then there were these wonderful Sikhs from the villages who came to our train. And when they heard our story, they vowed, of course, we were served the best of the paranthas and, the pickle and the fruit. But they vowed to take revenge. And revenge on whom? The innocent Muslims who were going to Punjab, West Punjab. Now, that was the human nature that we saw. I mean, humans were going against humans for no rhyme or reason. And then we saw, of course, what happened to these Muslims who were going. Probably we saw worse than what had happened to us. But anyway, we landed up in a place called Karnal in Haryana. Whatever you may call the government at that time, DK, the government was in shambles, or the social organizations, they were looking after us. But our father decided that we will not go into a refugee camp. We did not. He told us, you are not going to treat yourself as refugees. We are going to stand up on our feet all over again, and we will start a life all over again. That resilience, that will to overcome the adversity was another thing that got into our, mindset. So the life started again. With some influence, we were allotted lands, which were, compared to what we left behind, were minimal. And the life started all over again. We went to school. I, all humility, did well in school, was a class monitor, became a school monitor. And, in that little humble way, some qualities of leadership did get imbibed. But there was our father who said, look, there are no servants, there are no Jai Hazuris, Ji Hazuris anymore. So we have to partake in the work, in the lands, in the house, and study. And I'm very proud that with that, we came up. And finally, I appeared in 1950 when I was just about 50 years old for the UPSC examination. Fortunately, made it, went for the Special Selection Board in merit, was selected, and I joined the army. That little later. So that is how I grew up. That's how. Now you asked me a question. Did I imbibe? Did I make my own DNA? Did I get it in the DNA? And I want to answer that question to you, DK, because I feel it's a very important question you've raised. I am convinced that leaders are not born, leaders are made. Leaders make themselves. I am convinced, yes, you inherit some qualities from your parents in your genes, but they are only a supportive part of it. As you go along in life, you learn from your parents, you learn from your teachers, you learn from your elders, and finally you learn from your experience. And that is the evolution of how you become a leader. If I am today sitting on such a prestigious platform, it has been a lifelong learning, DK, lifelong observations, lifelong knocks, but you imbibe them and you make them as your part of your DNA. So I like to answer that question, that I do not believe leaders are born. Leaders are made, and anybody who keeps his eyes open, who's got a learnability mind, who experiences life, he should be able to make a leader. That's the answer to your
that
question.
has been very fascinating definition of DNA of leadership. And General Khurana beautifully said that leaders are not born, leaders are made. And this is a lifelong learning. Like I am a student of management and learning. I keep learning every day. Even now I am learning. And when I see a lot of people from the HR fraternity on this show, I could see Chaya Saigal from Mumbai. I can see Virendra Kaur from Mauritius. I can see Vasanta from Sri Lanka. Global Talent Sri Lanka, Vasanta, welcome. Nice to see you there. I can see Samir Nagarajanji there. I can see JP Malhotra sahab, DLF Industries Rotarian President. I can see Sangeeta Kashyap and I can see Suman Rawji there. So what General Khurana talked is a simple way of learning, relearning, unlearning every day. And the DNA of leadership is by sharing, caring, and learning all the time. There's no end of learning. And whatever we are doing today is actually learning. And General Khurana, I want to share with you many top people. I said Asha Bhandarkar ji has come here, and I cannot forget also. So many IM directors have come here, many vice chancellors have come here. And before you, 2 army generals have also come. I respect them, General Singh and General Abhinay. And in my next week is General G.D. Bakshi on my show. So when I look at army personnel, and I'm specifically talking about my second question, 40 years, 4 decades of army, and you have been known as highly decorated officer. I repeat, highly decorated officer. And powerful stints at various places as General Cadre Officer, prestigious command, general staff and other appointments. And then Army College of Combat, Defense Services, Staff College, Wellington, and then getting all these awards by President of India. I, along with the audience, would like to know keenly about these 4 decades. I know it's very tough in the next 2-3 minutes to talk about 4 decades of army experience. And we salute the army. And, in fact, when you shared about your partition story, that's maddening. I mean, I can understand how you were going through, because we all have suffered because of 1947. I was not born there, but I know my parents have suffered in Kashmir. And then Kashmiri Pandit suffered again in 1989. That story I don't want to talk about here. So tell us about your army, 4 decades of your journey of excellence.
Thank you, DK. Before I give you that in the next few minutes, I would say that give me 7 births and I will join the army again. Army makes a man out of you. Army, thank you, sir.
I'm giving a standing ovation to you, sir. I'm giving a standing ovation.
Thank you, DK. Thank you. Army makes a man out of a boy. Army makes a gentleman out of you. Army makes an officer out of you. And Army makes a leader out of you. Now, I'll quickly go through this journey. I know it's very difficult. 40 years is a long time. But as I told you, I was selected in 1950. I was 15 years old. And on 2nd January 1951, I joined the academy, Indian Military Academy, for a 4 years training. Well, it was tough. It was hard, but it was learning. as I told you, in the first year, year and a half, all our instructors were British, sergeants were British, academic teachers had been brought from outside, the best one from London. Mr. Nehru personally selected me because the military academy had started at that time. Mine was the 5th course. So remember, the academy was just 2 years old at that time. Now, before I go to this thing, I just want to make a small point about my selection, because there's a lesson which comes out there. I was from Punjab University, the erstwhile Punjab, undivided Punjab, the largest university in India. I was one of the toppers. I was the 8th in the order of merit of 10, which came in the Tribune and all that. But my English, you know, I don't want to do down my university, but English was what it was. Now, this was a 5-day interview we used to have at this selection center. Mostly British officers, physical tests, intelligence tests, medical tests, and finally the interview with the president, a colonel. So apparently I went through the first 4 days, and the 5th day came and much excitement, and I went in front of the colonel, a British colonel. Now he asked me questions, some simple, some I couldn't understand. So I think I said, sorry, sir. Could you say again? Sorry, sir. Once I said it 3 or 4 times, he said, look, you got a problem with your ears. So he rang up the doctor, ENT specialist. I'm sending this young man, check his ears. I went to the doctor. He did all that, the folk test and this, that, and that. Yeah, he was an Indian officer, major, doctor. He said, look, there's nothing wrong with your ears. Why does the president say that your ears are bad? I said, sir, to be honest, I could not understand his questions in English. So he laughed. He rang up the president and told him this was the problem. So I went back to the president. He spoke slowly. I answered all the questions, and then I was selected and joined the academy. Now, the academy those days, going to the army was a very prestigious thing, very prestigious. We had boys with us from Doon School, from Royal Indian Military College, and some of the top institutions. And they thought no end of themselves. They spoke beautiful English. They had all the, knowledge of what goes around. They will drag us. In boxing, they would, punch us. We didn't even know how to put on boxing gloves. But so that was my first lesson, DK, that I learned. What the hell? I am from a Punjabi landlord's family. I am going to learn hard and beat them up. And please, believe me, I did beat them. I passed out in 54 December in the top 20 of the course, and I became a second lieutenant. I would just say that when you pick up your first pip here, you think you become the chief of the army staff. Wow. And most of the time as you're looking around, you want to see on your shoulders, is the pip still there or not there? But then I was posted to a field area in Baramulla. Those days, Baramulla was a pretty tough area.
Yeah.
And you went there as an officer, second lieutenant. And we were taken to the CO for the interview. And the CO, Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel, a very tough gentleman, but a good teacher. He looked at me and he said, look here, I know you have done well in the academy because I was an under officer, I passed in the first 20 and all that, but you jolly well, you're a second lieutenant. There's nothing lower than the worm's belly, and you're the worm's belly, remember? And next morning, we were made to put on our packs and go on the pickets for the next 7 days. But in the process, we saw the area in those 7 days. Of course, we bullshitted a bit. We met our course mates who looked after us from infantry who were sitting on the pickets. But we were brought down to the Mother Earth. There was no mollycoddling. We were grounded straight from the word go. So that's the way you learned it. You carried on as life came along. You learned more things. You started going up the ladder. But in the army, we have a very structured system of learning and development. We do courses, we do cadres, we do promotion examinations regularly. The first course I was sent was for the driving and maintenance in Faizabad, near Ayodhya. And as luck would have it, I topped the course. Now, when I went back, my God, if I was to compare, I thought I was Neeraj Chopra, that kind of a thing. You were made much of. Every visiting officer who came, you were introduced. We used to call misters, incidentally. Subalterns were called misters. Mr. Khurana stood first in the scores. And you learn that you get an opportunity, make the best of it, and keep on doing this, making the best of every opportunity, and you will keep on climbing the ladder. There is no, complacency that I've done well. So the next course comes, you're given a job, you're given something. So my learning, which I would like to pass on, is that every opportunity that comes your way, don't put 100%, you put 200%. Make a success of it so that you can climb the next rung of the ladder and you keep going up the ladder. So the life was challenging. Life was tough. You were bullied around, but you learned. I remember the second in command of the unit asking me on my 5th or 7th day after I'd come back from the pickets, do you know driving? I said, no, sir. He said, get in the Jeep. So I got it. This is the clutch, this is the brake, this is the accelerator, this is so-and-so, start. So I started and he said, leave the clutch. So, when I left the clutch, you know what happens? He and me both, he hit his head on the windscreen and I hit myself on the wheel. And in the army, you can't touch anybody physically. But he, out of affection and learning, gave me a knock with his cane on my knuckles. In 5 minutes, I was driving that Jeep round and around without anything. That's the way the army mentors you. That's the way the army brings you up. And that's the way you learn. With that, life continued, your responsibilities increased. And as the responsibilities increased, I was reminded always of the motto that we learned in the academy, which got ingrained into our DNA. And the motto, and I'm not going to mix my words, so I'm going to read it. It became a part of our bloodstream. And it said, it's written in golden letters in the academy. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always, and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command comes next. And please note, your own ease, comfort, and safety comes last each and every time. That is the motto of the army, an officer's motto. And you do this as you go along up the ladder, your command span becomes bigger, your responsibilities become bigger, but that's one thing stays in your blood. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. Small example. Mr. Krishna Menon, all of us know him. I don't know if you have any personal knowledge, but he was not only dark-faced, but his insight was also, he was the defense minister visiting our unit, and he was very fond of particularly perfect blend of tea. So for 7 days, there were rehearsals in the officers' mess how to make tea. So he went round, the army commander was with him, a very stern army commander, very strict army commander. And finally, they came to the mess. And our CEO said, chai lao, Minister Saab ke liye. And the chai came with the Havaldar and 3 army waiters and all. It was served to him and everybody had the fingers crossed. And Krishna Menon took a sip and banged the cup. He says, is this tea? This is poison. Now, can you imagine a defense minister saying this in a unit commanded by a lieutenant colonel? So we thought we all went out of the roof, But now you see what the army commander did. He quickly took his cup, drank it, and he told our CEO, can I have another cup of tea? Are you getting the point I'm making? In that one gesture, he brought the blood pressure down, he brought the whole tension down, and he protected the command of that lieutenant colonel. No, I never forgot that. I had a case as a brigadier. I was deployed in Nowshera area, which is a very active line of control, mountainous area. We had regular firing with Pakistan. I had a big brigade, big size brigade. I won't mention what I mean by that. One day I get a call early morning on a Sunday from a colonel who was on the forward edge of the defenses. Sir, there is firing coming on my headquarters. I think the Pakistanis are firing it. So, you know, that was something which you can't accept. So I said, okay, hold your thing, keep them away. I'm coming along with my reserve battalion. I ordered them to get one company ready. I picked them on the way, the colonel, and we went there. By the time we reached, on the radio, I was told, sir, it's not a Pakistani, but one of their own men had picked up a rifle and with the automatic rifle and shot down one officer, was firing on the CO's commanding officer's thing. And now, this is one of the worst things that can happen to a unit. Okay? Their own fratricidal is a terrible thing. Whole word descended on the battalion, the corps commander, the divisional commander, the corps commander, the army commander, and they all wanted this battalion to be moved out from there and taken away. They should march to Pathankot all the way as a punishment. But I knew it was a good battalion. There was something that got wrong. So I stood my ground at my own cost, probably. And I said, no, sir, please don't do this. Give me 6 months, and this battalion is one of my best battalions, and they will turn around. And they did. No, the point I'm making is, it is extremely important that motto of the academy, the men you command come next, you know, after the country. And that taught me another big lesson. I hope I can take another minute or two on this, because 40 years is a long period. I took over command of a signal regiment as a lieutenant colonel. It is located in Jodhpur. I want no names of the officers, etc. When I met the general, the GOC, which I was later GOC of a division, he told me, he said, look here, Colonel Khurana, I have no faith in the unit. I'm not sure. I'm from signals, as you know, communications, till I went into general cadre data, that look, I have no faith that your unit will be able to give me communications. So I stood up, saluted, I said, sir, I'll come back to you after 2 months to take the rest of the briefing. Please give me 2 months to do what I want. He said, go ahead. I spoke to every man, officer, JSO, down to man. And I said, look, this is what I've been told. And will you accept it? And there was unanimous, no, sir, nahi karenge. We worked, I took the unit out into the desert. We worked for 8 weeks, learned our job, did the vehicles, did everything, came back, went back to GOC's ADC, and I said, look, I want to meet the GOC. He said, yes. I said, when can you visit my unit? Same unit, he visited, and visit of inspection of a GOC means a hell of a thing, you know. He can order, do this, do that, and that unit was turned around. What I'm trying to say is that you can turn the people around. Same people, as I come to it later, will probably, you know. And the other point that I learned was that you must listen. You must have a ground feel. You must listen to the people. There was a post near China border when I was a brigade major, as a major. I'm sorry, I'll be going up and down, but it was at about 14,000 feet. The nearest roadhead means where the vehicle went, was 21 days marching distance. Along with my brigade commander, I landed there in a helicopter. We talked to the chap, the JSU had long, this, you know, poor people, isolated. Before we were leaving, I took that Subedar Saab one side. I said, kuch kar sakte hain? And you'll be shocked to know what he told me. He says, Saab, ye radio set le jaiye idhar se. Humko nahi chahiye. That was the only lifeline they had to the rest of the world. I said, okay, sir. He says, Saab, aap hame order dete hain sumne कि पता लगा है चाइनीज आए हैं बॉर्डर पर और आप कहते हैं जल्दी पेट्रोल भेजो और 2-2 घंटे के बाद आप पूछते रहते हैं हमें 3 दिन लगते हैं 1.5 दिन जाने में और 1.5 दिन आने में सब हमको वो रेडियो सेट नहीं चाहिए आप ले जाओ no look at the learning that you get that you must see things on the ground you must listen to those people who are doing the job there and there I'm reminded of in golden letters in the Defense Services Staff College outside the Commandant's office, there's a very nice quote. And I'd like to quote that. It says, a wise old bird sat in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't you be the wise old bird? So listening is the better part of communication. And that is something else that I would like to, at this point, Then, as a leader, you got to accept moral responsibility. I had a problem opposite me. I got information that Pakistanis were building up behind the next hill. We tried all sorts of tricks up our sleeve to find out what is the fact, but the hill behind that we couldn't see. So one day I got into my helicopter. As brigade commanders, you could call the brigade helicopter in 40 minutes. And I told the pilots, I said, look, I am going to take you behind that hill into Pakistan. But when I tap you, you got to get the hell out of it. So they went along, turned around. I saw the hill behind. The moment the Pakistanis were taking position, I tapped, and believe you me, I have never seen a helicopter turn as fast and go up as fast as it, high up as it did. But the pilots told me, sir, there will be a complaint against us for crossing the line of control. So I said, don't worry. While they were there, I rang up my general. I said, sir, this is what I've done. He said, we've already got a complaint from Pakistan, from the army headquarters, that a helicopter in your sector has crossed over. I said, sir, I crossed it. I take responsibility for it. The pilot said, no fault. So I think that owning up responsibility when it comes to it is very, very, very important. And I'll take another couple of points to. Second is, we are rightly, discipline is one of our, base of the army. Discipline is extremely important. But as a leader, as you grow up, you have to look at the reason why a particular person is defaulted. I'll give you two examples. We on my sector, from 47 onwards, 48 onwards, mines have been laid. Every time there's tension, we lay the mines. So the hills are full of mines, and we demarcate them by wire and make only a rasta for people to go. And every morning people are told not to cross over the rasta. One day I was told that one mule leader, one person leads two mules. There we use mules for carrying guns and heavy loads onto the hills. That he had crossed over and his leg has been blown. So my habit was, whenever there was a casualty, whether Pakistani firing or anything, I rushed up, saw this chap, he was sent to hospital. The moment he felt a little better and he was being discharged, being sent on leave, I met him. I said, "Tumhe malum tha nahi jana hai?" He said, "Yes, sir, malum tha." तो मैं कहा क्यों गए? He said, "साहब," and I want to quote his words, "साहब, आपको और हमें फ्रेश राशन मिलता है, हमारे खच्चर को सूखा राशन पिछले 3 महीने का मिल रहा है और उधर हरा घास था, साहब मैं फिर भी जाऊंगा." No, normally I could have quote martial them and thrown out of the army, but no. You should look at the, I'll give you another instance. One of our Jawans, 6'7" tall, Muslim young chap, he got a Pakistani fire came and he got 2 bullets scraping past his skull. He was in the hospital. I was told that he was going home for marriage. So when he was discharged after a few days, I said, send him on marriage. And I told my staff, make a nice bonanza of gifts for his wife from me, from us. He said, sir, and he told me, I am not going on leave. Till the time I kill one Pakistani, I will not go for marriage. Now, I don't mind that we gave him an opportunity because we were firing every day. There was firing going on. We placed him in a location. He shot a chap down, proven. He came, sab, chuti jana, shadi karna. Now, that is the motivation of spirit. That is what the army is all about. Give you one more instance. People talk about China, aa gaya hai, ye ho gaya hai. In one of the battalion areas, the firing wouldn't stop after 2-3 days. So I asked the CO, I said, what's the matter? The commanding officer. He says, sir, they come in 20 meters inside our line of control, which is not demarcated. Is darkhat se us patthar tak, and they dig at night. We fire at them, they keep firing back. So I said, look, there's some problem. I'm coming. So I went there. They tried to show me behind cover and all. I couldn't make it out. So I said, I want to send a patrol to go down, and an officer-led patrol, and see from the side, is it truly 20 meters on our side? And I want volunteers. 3 second lieutenants, 20, 21 years old. They came up, sir, it's a question of our izzat of the unit. Main jaunga. So I picked up the smartest of the lot, handsome young fellow, gave him a JSU and 3 men to go with him. And I told him, be careful, they will pick you up, because, he was to go down and see from the side. Unfortunately, he was picked up. And 5 minutes later, we got a report on the radio said that he's been hit and killed. Now, I went to meet his parents and I told them in Delhi, this is what your son is. And that unit wanted to say, it's a question about is it? 20 मीटर कैसे आ सकते हैं साहब? और आपको शक है कि वो नहीं आ रहे? Are you getting the motivational part of the army that gives you that feeling that I would love to be 7 times again in the army? That is the kind of a thing. You have to stand your ground. And lastly, I like to say communication, as you, gurus like you and Asha Bhandarkar and Dr. Preetham says, communication, communicate. Believe you me, in the army, it's all the more important. When the Blue Star operation took place in Gurdwara Sahib, in Amritsar, there was a little bit of an unease in our Sikh troops. Obviously, rumors were spreading that the Harminder Sahib has been destroyed. I had 2 units worth of Sikhs. And, it could be dicey in a field area on the pickets. I went and, not only me, all the commanders who had Sikh troops, all the commanders all over the army. We went and talked to them. We explained to them, and we told them that the army headquarters arranged the next day, all Subedar majors from 6 units will be flown over the Harminder Sahib to show that there is no damage. But if that communication had not worked, well, in an atmosphere of emotions, anything can happen. So I feel communication is important. I also had the opportunity to operate in IPKF in Sri Lanka, where our hands were tied. Difficult situation. We could not use machine guns, we could not use guns, we could not use mortars, we could not use tanks. And they were the LTT, having a pot shots at us. So there are dicey moments. I went to the prisoner of war camp in Jaffa. And one side was women and the other side was men. So I told the player who was in charge there, I said, I would like to go to the women's camp. He said, no, sir, please don't go. They're very dangerous. I said, what nonsense. You send a chap with me with a Sten gun and speaking Tamil. So I went. I saw young 19, 20 years old girl, old women, young women, who had shot at the army. So I asked this girl, it was translated, did you shoot the army, Indian army people? She looked at me and said, yes, I killed one, but I want to kill more. No, that is motivation of the wrong side. But we have to learn from this, that if you can motivate people, if you can put the cause across to them, they will be prepared to give their life to you. That's how a Jawan or a unit ordered to attack a machine gun, knowing that 50% will get killed, will go along and do it. So that is the kind of life that one has led. And I have no regrets. I am proud of.
I don't know what to say, General Khurana, but 40 years, 4 decades of your journey of excellence, which you spoke last 10 minutes, has been a brilliance of your personality, your persona, and I salute you for that. I salute every army officer, every army Jawan for contributing to the nation, and making our flag very strong. And in fact, I always have a habit whenever I meet any army officer at the airports, I keep clapping them. I really feel proud of them. And every officer deserves that. And I feel when people, especially in Kashmir, when there have been many situations where people are questioning Indian army, it gives me a lot of pain in my heart. Having said that, when you talked about tough, safety, honor, and welfare of your country, more than your own peace, comfort, what a quote. And that is making me emotional. And I'm feeling very proud, General Khurana, to be a proud Indian. And I'm feeling very proud, General Khurana, to know you last more than 2 decades. I feel very proud of being with you, with your lot of activities, national management conventions and all that, and even supporting me when I was the vice president, Delhi Management Association. My lot of respect. General Khurana, we can talk about your army thing probably for hours together, and there will be many stories, there will be many beauties. But let me go to your post 91, when you left army and then you became on the board of directors of many companies, corporates, institutions, longest director general of All India Management Association. This is again another very strong story of your excellence. You were already a great leader because Army brings out the best leadership qualities. And IMA, when you joined, what kind of body it was? How did you shape it to be such a strong one? That is what I would like to know. Though I know something, but let the audience around the world, because I'm getting excited. There are people, Kaushik Saab has joined from Berlin, and we got Yogesh already from Singapore, and Sanjeev has joined from Thailand again, and Randeep Rai has joined from Bangkok, from Rayong, and we got Vishaka already from New Jersey on the show. So I am seeing a lot of people coming and trying to raise hands for the question. Let me know about your journey, quick. All India Management Association. How did you change that small? We used to say in Delhi Management Association, DMA was born earlier than their father, which is All India Management Association. And we used to say this. But then All India Association was the father. Because DMA was born.
I heard that.
How did you make that?
I heard all that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you quickly, because I hope we will have enough time. Maybe we'll go over a little. I was enjoying my life after retirement. I was playing my golf. I was reading my books, and I put my legs up, and, wife will come and say, "Chai kitni dawa pina," and all that. Till one day, Rajendra Singh, God bless his soul, is the chairman, managing director of the NTPC, and Dr. What's his name? Taneja, famous Dr. Taneja, past president. They called me up and they said, "Have lunch with us." So I went along, and they said, "Look, IMA is going through a very lean patch, and we would like you to please take over, and let's turn around. I just couldn't say no. They were my very dear friends, both of them. I spent the first 7 days, which is the habit in the army, in meeting everybody, talking to them, getting their pulse. And I was, to be quite honest, it was a very frustrating feeling. It was badly fragmented. There was no sense of belonging in people. The leadership was working in silos. They were demotivated. Financially, they were in dumps. There was very poor infrastructure, so much that somebody called it Patwarkhana. Patwari is there. There was lack of clear demarcation of duties, and the LMAs, as you very rightly said, they were becoming the fathers, not I'm being the father. And the events were very low quality, they were being cancelled. So when I saw all this, I analyzed for myself, and I felt the problem was with the people not being motivated enough, people not being told what is expected of him, people not being given the resources, people not being given the training and the skills that are required. So my first approach was to get a cohesion and feeling of ownership. I started open sessions where everybody would have the chance to speak up and to be participative. And you get a lot of ideas, but the aim was to bring them together. I insisted on systems and procedures and no deviation. Once the systems and procedures, mind you, they were done participative, but they had to be enforced. Discipline was, of course, there was no go beyond the deadline. And if there was, well, those people, I had to, unfortunately, sack a couple of very senior people. The infrastructure had to be upgraded to give them a feeling of working in nice environment, in a good unit, in a good organization. And so what did we do? I first started their training. I took, talks to them, motivational, skill upgrading, how to run a program, etc., etc., etc. And I went for low-hanging fruits first because I wanted to get that feeling of success. Once you taste success, then you want to, you're a guru on that. Then you want to go higher. So we went for low-hanging fruits, the easier programs with good faculty, but quality of the highest level. And I found as that happened, the hunger to get more started. And then we started going for major programs, as I said, National Management Convention, Foundation Day, Advanced Management Program. We made them as flagship programs to build the brand. The fiscal discipline was so strict that we had no money. So every penny had to come to the DG to be sanctioned or to be okay. But I refused to. I learned from my father. We are not refugees. I refused to borrow a penny from anybody. I said, we will earn it. If I can't give you pay this month, you will get paid twice, 2 months next month. And we did that. Now, when we started all this, I felt that as we started growing, as we started showing the quality, I said, now is the time to go for big networks with the CII, SHM, FICCI, All India Council of Technical Education, making international. Because aim was now to bring the international good practices into India. We had reached that stage, our finances had picked up. So I went across, as you said, 36 countries that I visited during this period. I went to USA, we tied up an MOU with the American Management Association, Carnegie Mellon University, Harvard Business School, Kellogg's. I went there, talked to them. We sent our advancement programs there. We sent our young managers there. I went to UK, tied up with the Institute of Management UK, Henley Management School, London Business School. We got faculty from there to come do our programs here. When the things start moving, that is the momentum you want to use. And then your council supports you. Then you can ask your president and the council, sir, Mr. President, I need 50 lakhs. And he'll ring up ITC, Mr. Deveshwar, and Mr. Deveshwar will say, 50 lakhs given, you call so-and-so as a faculty, to speak at that. So this is what shall I stepping, but totally. And then I went to Switzerland, as you said, about 9 times. We tied up with the St. Gallen University. I went to France, to INSEAD, tied up with them. We ran their program here, their faculty. They gave us the certificates. And I went to Philippines. With the Asian Institute of Management, you know that area very well. Australia was a big contributor. I went to Deakin University, got there on EDP. We got their program and the small and medium enterprises. Swinburne University, as a matter of fact, I was the, what's that called? Adjunct professor of Swinburne University was made. I mean, to me, that sounded a little odd, but there it was. The RMIT in Melbourne, and so on and so forth. So, it was a very gradual, hard-headed, hard-handed, soft-hearted, disciplined, systems-oriented, and people-managed. The same people who were what I took over, believe me, did wonders. And the rest is history. You know where IMA was when I left and where IMA is today, even better than that. So I'm very glad that it gave me, and the discipline point, I just want to quote one lastly in the end. I was so fussy about being punctual to the second that the program must start. Mr. Chidambaram did not come for 5 minutes. We started the program and I apologized to him. He didn't like it. What in the program, Najma Haptullah, who was the vice chairman of the Rajya Sabha, she came 15 minutes earlier. So somebody told her, madam, you come so early. You know what she said? She said, I know General Khurana starts the program on time and I didn't want to be late. Otherwise, I would have, no, that was the best compliment IMA could get. So I think my learning was that it's the people, train them, upgrade their skills, motivate them, give them the wherewithal, lead them, set your aspirations and their expectations, and you can achieve wonders. You can achieve wonders. That's how the IMA story is. But IMA is doing very well, and I'm very glad.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are enjoying the journey of excellence of a great man. And I can see Vandana Sareen Puri. She has worked under you, sir, and she is on the show. She is watching you on Facebook, and she's saying, "My God, I can see General Khurana with you." I can see many people who are known. Jagota, Subhash Jagota ji is there, and talking about, wow, nice to see him around. And in fact, Mr. Malhotra is saying that a lot of time I went and met General Khurana at IMA, and it's so fascinating that there are people here who are, Samir Nagarajan is here. Pharma industry, he is talking about how ready-made talents were not exposed, and he has a question. Probably he will be. Good to see you, Samir Nagarajan ji here. And I can see people joining from, we got from SN Cole from Dubai. Yeah, he is saying that he met you through the SME forum. I can see a lot of people. Life is one big learning experience. And General Khurana's sharing experience is amazingly beautiful. And I can see that people are raising questions and we need to be fast. And Deen Dayalan is again, a great man who has done a lot of work at the grassroots level. I am a personal, Deen is like a mentor to me. And when I started Global Talent, from day one, he supported me. He's on the board of my company and I help him. And Deen's work has been precisely a great work done at the grassroots level. Non-professional HR, people who had never studied HR, became HR directors under Dean's mentorship. Dean, nice to see you here. Sir, I am getting excited, and so are people getting excited. Now, when I look at you, I see at you as AE, Army Excellence, BE, Business Excellence, EE, Education Excellence. You're a combination. Because when I looked at Dr. Pritam Singh, and he also has been one of the most respected CEOs in a business school. I am Lucknow, MD Gurgaon, IMI, and he has been, you know how close I have been. He has been like my father, my guru, my friend, He is always around me, So when I look at both of you, Dr. Pritam Singh did not come from army, but business excellence and education excellence. And coming out as a CEO, running it as a business organization, which, we used to always say, IMA is 100 crores, We feel proud of IMA. Now, when you see Army excellence, education excellence, business excellence, how do you see similarities between the three in order to drive that courage, conviction, compassion, confidence, commitment, and finally the cash in a business style?
That leadership which
we are not able to hear you properly.
Leadership.
Sir, you need to repeat.
Can you hear me now?
And now you can repeat, sir.
Okay. I'm saying leadership is a trait which is common, many qualities which are common in the leaders in various fields. Leadership is not something which is sectoral. However, there are nuances which are sectoral, and those require to be specializing in those. Now, the qualities we mentioned were important, but I would say if I was to lead leadership, you can't hear?
We can't see
if
you.
I was to list, can you hear me now?
We can't see you. Your camera is off, and your voice is also going.
No,
still not, sir. No, still not, sir.
Now?
No, sir, no. We can't see you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can you see General Khurana? I am not able to see him.
Just a minute. Just a
Write
minute.
down those who can see him. Please, ladies and gentlemen, whosoever is on Zoom or any other platform, please write whether you are able to see General Khurana. No, you cannot. They also cannot. No one can see you, sir. So I think there's something wrong with your internet. In any case,
Okay.
we are not.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
Can you now hear me? Can you now hear me?
No, I think there's something wrong with your internet. Is it possible that you can log out and log in again, sir? I can keep holding myself. You can log out and join again, General Khurana?
Yeah.
You can log.
Yep.
Do it one time, log out and then rejoin on the same link.
Okay.
I think that's better. No, now it's okay. Now it's okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something wrong with General Khurana's this thing, but in the meanwhile, I got a lot of, we got, sir, what a greatest challenge the employees face to work with you when you were in supersonic speed. Vandana Puri is saying, he was a tough taskmaster, but I enjoyed learning from him. I have worked with him, sir. Wow. And there are some questions already coming in, and the question is coming from Mr. Malhotra. Do leaders retire at any point of time? If so, what an appropriate time? How do we do succession planning in industry association? You are taking advice, please. Mr. Malhotra is right now the president of DLF Industries, Faridabad. What a solid question. And we are getting General Khurana back. Yes, sir, you are back. Yes, yes.
Okay. Can you now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead. Don't worry about the backdrop.
My apologies. My apologies.
No,
now,
please go ahead.
What I was saying that in addition to the 6 C's that you very rightly pointed out, I take some qualities which are common to all leaders, whatever sector they may be in. And I would like to just quickly recount them. First and foremost is the competence in whatever you're doing, whatever job, whatever profession. Second is you must lead by example. You cannot be sitting back and giving orders and leading. Third is courage, physical and moral. To me, moral courage is more important in a leader than even physical. Although in the army, physical would count quite a lot. I would then say integrity and ethics. There is no difference in me. I would then say empathy and compassion. I would say people management, learning and development and upskilling your people under you. Passion and commitment to the job and the organization. Decision making, risk taking, vision and looking at the major picture, not getting tied down in the smaller things. Now, these are common to every leader in whatever sector. But there are nuances. For example, a business leader will look at the top line and bottom line. He will look at his competitors. He would look at the products. So be it. But the academic person would look at the quality of education. He would like to see the faculty. Is the faculty fully developed? Are they up to the latest contemporary needs? He would say, have I got close interaction with the stakeholders, the business, the industry, the policymakers and the society? He would look at the research and creation of knowledge. That's what I would look at and then we come to the army. I would just like to say, in the army, there is no runners-up. There's no trophy for the runners-up. You either get the gold medal or you get draped in a tiranga and go home. So that being the principle of army leadership, you have to be sure that your men under your command are able to deliver and deliver to their best. So performance is important, as you said. Yes, in all fields, the performance is important, but the performance has to be got through the people that are your team. And here I would like to quote the most admired person, Dr. Preetham Singh, that you've talked about, a very dear friend of mine, a person I think was a true guru. He, in his famous book, The Odyssey to Leadership.
I got the book.
You did. He has talked about leaders who are toxic and leaders who are virtuous. Be it toxic or virtuous, both want to achieve the objective. But the toxic leaders are those whose values, attitude, aptitude, behavior is such that they ruin, demotivate their subordinates. They demean them. Whereas the virtuous are the ones who, with their attitude, values, and behavior, give them a positive energy so people come back to do it. Why can't we be the virtuous leaders? I know many virtuous leaders and I know quite a few toxic leaders. Aim is not just to achieve your aim. Aim is to achieve how your people, they should be happy. They should be able to do the job that is required. Yes, you asked a question whether my army background helped. Yes, it helped. Discipline, commitment, self coming last, it certainly helped me. But I feel anybody and everybody can imbibe these qualities and be able to make a leader. And here I want to, what I've read in one of the global HR heads, and I'd like to quote that. It's very important. It says that global HR head of one of the biggest MNCs, he says the present leaders who can lead properly are following types. They are kind, they are compassionate, they are empathetic, they are inclusive. No longer the one who has all the answers. They are the ones, first thing they do is to listen and acknowledge the pain, and the answers will follow. They empathize. They walk in the shoes of the men they are working with. They lead with no hierarchies, with no, I'm so-and-so and I'm so-and-so. They're willing to be humble and curious. These are the leaders who are succeeding in today's time. But we lost somewhere because we started appreciating those leaders who were running as supermen style of leadership, who were chasing the growth and talking about profit, etc. But those days are gone. Today, you want leaders who will have these qualities. So I would leave this question here. I hope I've been able to cover it in.
Fantastic, sir. It is amazing. And we are racing with the time now. And whatever you talked about the leadership at AE and EE and BE, I think there are similarities. And Army gives that discipline, the courage, the conviction, the compassion, the compatibility, the confidence, the character, all the C's, and then get into this. Yes, we remember Dr. Preetham Singh. Ashaji, we are remembering your book here, Dr. Singh's book here.
She's the co-author of that
book.
Dr.
Asha Bandar is a co-author. And this book was given to me by Dr. Preetham Singh himself. I came from Bangkok, went to his house, he signed that, and I am not able to remove that picture from my Facebook. And people say, hey, you are keeping only this one picture for the last so many years. I am not able to remove that. That is the respect for that great man. General Khurana, quick question now. I need to get into closure before we have a couple of questions from people. We are talking about India Atmanirbhar. We are talking about India becoming in COVID, leave aside the second wave, India becoming the healer for the world. We are talking about India as the pharma hub, manufacturing hub, as well as the human capital hub. So whether we as a pharma hub or a manufacturing hub or human capital hub, and we are talking about leadership hub also, frankly speaking, because we have a lot of great leaders who are ruling Fortune 500 companies in the world, and we have business leaders, Indian companies. I also worked for one of the company. I had Dr. Santru Mishra here, Aditya Birla company. So you can see even small businesses today making impact in the world. When I joined Indorama Ventures in Thailand, it was $160 million. Today is $12 billion in near about 45 countries. So how do you see after COVID? We are still in DC. BC is gone before COVID, we don't know. DC, we are during COVID, and AC after COVID, which should come anytime. How do you see Indian global business leadership taking shape to make India Atmanirbhar? Quick response, sir.
Yeah, very quickly. I think COVID has taught us a good lesson that our dependence has to reduce. We have to be self-reliant, but unfortunately, Atmanirbhar is being misunderstood. It does not mean that we are going to stop importing. It does not mean we are substituting for imports. It means we should become least dependent on imports. It means we should develop our products, which should be of international standard, which we can export an economy of scale so that we can raise the income, we can raise the standard of living of our people and our economy. So that is what Atmanirbhar means. And as you very rightly said, we have people who have done this. We have startups who match up with anybody in the world. You know, unicorns, they could be compared with any of the top people. We have leaders in our own country who could match anyone anywhere. So we have the base, we have the seeds sown in, but I think there are a few gaps, and I'd like to quickly cover those gaps. Incidentally, I visited Vietnam twice. Once before they started becoming the hub of the production. When they were poor, they were demolished, destroyed by the war, by the Americans. Even the trees had been sort of bombed out. And then I went there when they had now started producing everything of the world. And now, as you know, from China, maximum people are shifting to Vietnam, not to India or Bangladesh so much. If they can do it, we can do it. But there are a few, quickly, I would say, the gaps which are required to be. You know, the policy framework is there. The political will has been displayed. But DK, I think we must accept that there are bureaucratic hurdles. Absolutely. Those bureaucratic hurdles have to go. They have to change the mindset that this is India which wants to become Atmanirbhar. This is the India which wants to be self-reliant. This is the India which wants to produce quality goods. We've got to take education to that kind of a level where it is not to book reading, and it's got to be entrepreneurship-oriented education. It's got to be mentors there available. We're going to talk about mentors, I hope, if you have time. We've got to get people who can use the energy of the youth. The youth is brimming with energy. And I don't mind using my own example of my own son. He is the first generation businessman. And I want to tell you, he and his wife, they today have 3,000 people employed in 5 factories where they're exporting high quality stuff. They can do it, but they need support. They need a supporting environment. They want to cut out this red tapeism. They want to cut out that, you know, cutting edge government comes at the point where the government meets the people. There, unfortunately, today, we have not yet cleaned up that system. They need, you know, some kind of a stimulus to grow. They're waiting for it. The energy is all there. Then I would say the SME sector, particularly I mentioned about my own son, but SME sector is today contributing the maximum employment, maximum GDP. Some of them are excellent quality, but then, you know, they're limited because of resources. Hold their hand, mentor them, ask the big industry to use the Japanese model where the small industry builds Japan and not the large industry builds Japan. And I would finally say that, you know, the stakeholders, all the stakeholders, they've got to realize that profit is not a dirty word. Profit is, unless you earn money, the money cannot come to the people. Employment will not be generated. The money, taxes will not be available. So give them wings to fly. Give them, you know, let 100 flowers bloom and they will deliver. So that's my view on the Atmanirbhar, and I'm absolutely convinced that our Prime Minister has done the right thing at the right time.
Sir, you said it all, and I can see GK, one of your grandson. He says we are proud to have grandfather whom we salute from the nation and from the family. GK, nice to see you, youngster. That's the question I have, General Khurana, quick one. Youngistan, I call it, always. Young India. And whether you can see cricket or athlete or hockey and Neeraj Chopra's and speed, skill, and scale. Speed, skill, and scale. Going, growing, and glowing. Now, this is what is happening. Whether Oracle, Google, Microsoft, Pepsi, Coke, Tokyo's, everywhere. One message to this Youngistan which you would like to
hear. You've touched a very soft corner of my heart. I am all for the young people of India. I have traveled to 36 countries, as I said, and I've met young managers and business students. Every time I come back, I say, my God, we've got our youngsters who are much better, but give them opportunity, give them an environment, give them the oriented education for that purpose. Give them encouragement. You know, society wants people to go and pick up jobs, stability of jobs. अरे भाई उनको risk taking करेंगे तो तभी they will do something. That's only how the country will improve. Young people have so much of josh, energy, wanting to do things. They come with dreams in their eyes, and and then if they don't get the support, they probably will. Of course, we'll have to make sure that the productivity and the quality is not imposed. Let me tell you, I was on the Productivity Council of India member and the Quality Council of India member, both chaired by the ministers concerned. And I used to feel so frustrated, and I took it up that we are always talking about this industry ko ye, bade managers ko ye karna hai, wo karna hai. I said, sir, why don't we go down to schools and colleges? Why don't we teach them productivity and quality? They are the ones who are going to be the India of tomorrow. They are the ones who are full of energy of the youth. But, my message to the young people is, put your hearts to it, go for risk-taking, be enterprising, don't look for only white-collar jobs, put your best. The country is changing, the new India is changing, and you are the guys who are going to be the architects of new India. Therefore, don't give up and keep your wings flying. Keep your minds as open as you can. That's my message to them.
We need more Tokyos. We need more Olympics. We need more CEOs. We need more SME business entrepreneurs. My last question, because Dean has a question for you. Mr. Malhotra has a question for you. My last question. Now, I have another third mentor who is Dr. Kiran Bedi. You know it. I'm very close to her. And we started a movement called #Women Power, a global movement. 20 countries in the world with a mission of 1 million women on this platform by 2024, irrespective of caste, creed, color, nationality, and religion. We are aggressively doing it. Not a single Saturday lost since April 2020 around the world. And in fact, Dr. Asha Bandarkar came on the first program when we launched along with Dr. Kiran Bedi. She was there to really close the session, help us to do that. And that was when we were just doing it in the beginning. I was not good at WebEx and Zooms. Thank you, Dr. Asha Bandarkar. I can never forget your support to me in any case, wherever I do and whatever I do. I always respect you for supporting me always. So what is your view about women power? How do you see Indian women power getting stronger globally as well? And how will you support on this movement? Quick, sir.
Very quickly. Firstly, DK, let me compliment you for taking up this cause at the global platform of yours. I think the time has come when we must realize that women are 50% of the human capital of this country. And taking the demographic advantage of the youth, the same applies to women. We are losing out a productive age group people by not giving them an opportunity. And when we do give them opportunity, it is a biased mind, a jaundiced mind. We need to change our mindset. We should not consider them inferior, but I have a few caveats. Biologically, a woman can only produce a child. You and me can watch only. So therefore, they need to take a break in their career for maternity to grow up the child. We need to give them a support system so that they do not spend 3 years before they come back to the job. And when they come back to the job, please don't consider them junior by 3 years. I don't mean give them a promotion, but give them jobs that they are capable of, that they were doing before. We don't do it. We look down upon them. Do we give them a safe environment? No. You need to give them safe environment for work, safe environment when they travel. We need to, I have some statistics that today only 6% of the women are occupying the executive chair. And only 10% of the women, 10% women are occupying the non-executive chair. Is that using the 50% human capital? No. So therefore, we got to give them gender parity. Don't just because they're women, make a separate funnel for them and recruit only women for a job. When you're hiring people, have a big funnel so that, we've lost again. Somebody started something.
You're there.
Okay. Okay. We've got to have a funnel big enough so that more CVs are collected and we pick up more women. Because remember, in the middle, the bucket is leaking. just when they're in about 30s or so, they would like to go in for a family. And that time they will have to go off for 2 years, 3 years. Therefore, right from the beginning, we should have a bigger funnel, pick up more women and go down the line, start from the education. Make sure that the education is given to more women of the right type so that they can come up and do the needful. They can add to the health of the nation. I feel passionate about it. They're doing a good job. I mean, you've talked about Olympics. Look at the women's hockey team. When I was watching, believe me, I didn't know that they had, as if they were electric things fitted in them, the way they were showing their energy, the way they were fighting out, the way they had the commitment, and the way they cried after they lost. That is what the women power is. And I think we have it in us. We should give them opportunities, equal opportunities. We should not consider them junior or weaker sex. That's absolutely wrong. And give them the support system. And I think the women will deliver and will take us anywhere possible. You've talked about, and I've been watching, I've been on the board of IM. I've been also watching some of the IITs. Every year, the number of students who are getting into these is increasing. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Every year they're increasing. If you look at the CBSE exams, ISC exams, the toppers are more women. They're doing not only in sports, we've got them in the defense now. And just before we started this evening session, I heard the Supreme Court saying that they will be taken into the NDA now also, into the National Defense Academy. So therefore, it's a force multiplier. They will add to the country's productivity, wealth, output, GDP, whatever you might call it. And it will make the life more. But we have to be careful of them. We have to give them the support. I'm saying again, we spouses will have to consider now, you and me, that if our wives, well, we are out of it now, but if the wife is working, then I'm afraid the spouse has to share equal load. You can't expect a wife to come. I'd like to finish by just giving you a small anecdote. And I heard this from Indra Nui herself when she came to India. She was given a big introduction in one of the IMA functions. And she said, I love to come to India because I hear this introduction of myself. She said, when I became the president, I was very keen that I'll go home in the evening and break the news to my mother. So she says, I came home and there was mother standing and said, Mommy, there's some news. She said, hold on, go across the street, first get some milk, because she said, why? The husband was sitting there. Why doesn't he go? He says, he'll be tired the whole day. So go and get some tea and then tell me what it is. She said, I came back. The tea was made, served to the man first. And then I told him I become the president of PepsiCo. No, that's not fair. I think we'll have to come to a fairness. But remember, there are some functions only they can do. But please, I am not for reservations. If you ask the women today, they would come to a stage when there should be no reservation. Reservation is for weaker people, not for people who have the potential. Therefore, my message to the men is treat them equally, change your mindset, give them support system. And to the women, don't you consider the weaker sex. Well, I'll leave it at that.
Great. I have Deen Dayal and Varsha. Can you unmute Deen Dayalan ji? And with his camera, we can see him. And Mr. Malhotra also. Quick, Deen, you can raise your question, Deen.
Thank you, Mr. Khurana ji. It's been outstanding.
No. Yes,
Deen,
of course.
we want to see you. Wait a while. We must put your video on. We have updated you.
But the video is not coming on. I don't know why.
Just a minute.
Please update both Mr. Malhotra, Mr. Dean quickly, and of course, then our vote of thanks, Achanyan also. Please, Narula. Dean, just wait a while because General Khurana will remember you.
Yeah, but the video is not coming on. I'm trying.
Sir, video.
I can see you.
You can video on.
I'll switch on the video, but I'll go ahead with the question.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead, Dean.
Mr. Khurana ji, it's been outstanding. Whatever you spoke, and I'm also glad Samir Nagarajan is also there, and pharma industry is in the growth phase. We need to invest in people below the age of 18, between 16 and 18, and integrate your AE, BE, and EE, and customize it for the industry. And we have worked with 25,000 municipal school students, and 5,000 have become general managers and vice presidents. Today, pharma industry needs, because in the global skill index, we are very, very pathetic. If we don't invest in youngsters and try to put knowledge for 18 plus, we are not going to be export competitive. And pharma is going to give that export competitiveness. And that is where I think you could take a leadership, and we can all support you.
Thank you, Dean. I think I entirely agree with you. And incidentally, Samir, if you're listening, Samir happens to be our HR head of the company that I'm on the board of. And I totally agree. And I know Samir views also that we have to invest in our youngsters. We have to invest in the pharma. And let me tell you, probably Samir would tell you later, that the government has given a huge incentive to the pharma industry so that we can substitute the imports. We were getting 75% of the APIs from China. And when China put a block for a couple of months, you can imagine a company like the company that I sit on and where Samir is there, I don't want to name that company, you can see what was our state. So I entirely agree with you. And I think we should collectively put this point to the government. Government has already realized we have produced the vaccines. In 10 months, 11 months, we have become remember the HC, whatever that was, that we were the only people giving it to the world. So I agree with you. We've got to put incentives, we've got to give stimulus, and we've got to go for training and education of our people. I entirely agree with you. And whatever I can do, well, please, rest assured.
I can share with you separately. There's a tremendous scope, and frontline produces the bottom line.
Yes, sir. I agree with you entirely. We can have a chat on that. And I can see you now. It's such a pleasure to see you. Such a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Dean, so nice of you to join, but Samir is gone. I was trying to find Samir. I wanted him also to be here. In fact, I am also very keen to discuss with Samir and Dean with you about this, because we have also done a lot of work. So we can jointly work on this total plan. Now I have Mr. Rotary and Mr. Malhotra. Quick question, Malhotra Sahab.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Dean, where are you?
Good evening, Khurana sahab. This is JP Malhotra, and I've been a fan of yours for a long time when you were DG IMA, and I had the opportunity of attending so many programs. Sir, my question is, you remember me, sir? Thank you very much, sir. Sir, my question is, do leaders retire? If so, what is the appropriate time for them? And what do they do as a succession planning in their industry organizations?
Mr. Malhotra, in the army, we say a soldier never retires. A soldier fades away. And I would like to bring the same thing. You know, the retirement term means something from active life you may be retiring. 8 to 9, 8 to 6, you retire. But the brain never retires. The older we grow, the more we can contribute to the society, more we can contribute to the profession. So I think people like you and me, we can contribute in a different way, like what we are doing today. This kind of a think tanks and discussions, give the ideas, prepare papers, hold the hands of, the young people. Samir is our global head HR in Cadila. Now I'm going to name it. And I sit on the board of Cadila for over the last 16 years. Now we contribute there. So I don't think we ever should retire as a professional with all the knowledge that we have gained. Now is the time to pay back to the society, give back to the society that we've gained all the time. If you retire means you're gone. So I do not call myself retired, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Lovely to see you.
Even I say now, I am 61, I say I have to work for the next 25 years.
Of course you must.
I am 73, sir.
Nothing.
That's my age.
One of the days in the morning, 9 o'clock,
ladies and gentlemen, finally, close this program. I am requesting Achan in Narula. Achan in.
Namaskar, ji. No history, no history, no nothing.
Can you mute others?
Sorry to interrupt. I think
there are too many people who got unmuted.
Okay, Achan in is our Director of Global Talent Bangkok. A quick vote of thanks. In Narula is born in Thailand.
Absolutely.
But he's Indian. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Achan in Narula.
Yes, thank you. And good evening, Dr. Bakshi, and of course, General Khurana. I'm very, very proud of you, sir. You have done a great honor to us all through this course. Safety of your country, honor as an officer and a gentleman. Your comfort come last. The officer and the gentleman, General Khurana ji, you grew up in the family of the landlord and had all the comfort at a very young age. And yet, when you were young, you experienced the reality of life during the partition. And that gave you a lot of experiences. The reality during the partition grew you up to become of great honor. Your father is your idol. And the experiences that you went through during the military academy is par excellence, because it taught you to be courageous, to have discipline, and also to be committed. Take away from today this course, General Sir, with the many examples as an experience and anecdotes you give. One, communication is the key. You need to be concise, clear, organized, to the point. Communicate with your team. One dream, one mission, one team. The most important part of communication is to be a great listener. As rightly said by General Khurana, sir, the less you speak, the more you hear. The more you hear, the better you understand. Organization, number two, organization that take care of their people in general will perform much better than organizations that do not take care of their people by more than 30%, as statistic is shown in the West. The common denomination of the characteristics of armies, businessmen, and education excellence are lead by example. These are the common denomination: courage, integrity, empathy, compassion, people management, passion for excellence, commitment. You need to be a leader by example. You need to be parents by example. You need to show them how, and be ready to be on the ground with your people. That's how you grow the organization. You grow the army, you grow your team. You need to be kind, compassionate, empathetic, inclusive, lead with no hierarchy, because you believe in equality and fairness. General Khurana, sir, I am most thankful to a lot of the example and the anecdotes that you have given us this evening. We are very proud of you, sir. And to this, may I request everyone to please, please, please join me in giving General Khurana ji a standing ovation, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Acharya, thank you as usual. General Khurana in Narula is holding the Port of Global Talent in Bangkok. I'm stuck in Noida, and he is again a very great, damn good leadership coach. Asha Bhandarkar calls him damn good leadership facilitator. And he has been with me to Afghanistan as well. And we have, I am doing something for Afghani women. Near about 30 women are coming to the country. I have made preparations. I'm trying to get the visa because they're all professional people. I spoke to Asha Bhandarkar also. And I got a couple of people who have given their houses. I got 3 houses already in Noida, Delhi, and Faridabad for them. And there is one lady right now, Akicha from Kabul. She is on the line. She is watching this. And there are people from different parts of the world who are supporting. Yeah, Milane is there, Women Power from Spain. She, last night, 11:30, she was chatting with me, and then we discussed how we can support them. Milane is the Women Power chapter head of Spain, and she also knows all these women. I know around 120 women in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great program we had today. it has been a great journey of excellence. I talk about 60, 65 minutes, but see how this journey of excellence go forward and forward. I am really grateful and thankful to all of you who have joined from different parts of the world. I can see Ash and I can see Mark also still from Sydney. Ash is still from Brisbane on, and it's the midnight in Australia, and many people are on from different parts of the world. What a journey. And 3rd Army General and the 4th Army General next Wednesday, General G.D. Bakshi, to be on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Global Talent and on behalf of #New DNA of Leadership, another powerful session by General Khurana, whom I've been respecting last 20 years. He has been my mentor, sir.
Dr. Bakshi, you know, when the COVID is behind us, please, I'd like to invite General Khurana ji to please visit Thailand, because your experiences and anecdotes will, of course, you know, we will be learning for us all here in Thailand, sir.
It will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure to take that, and I would be very happy. I've always loved to go to that beautiful place, beautiful country, and it will be a great pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Look forward to meeting you in person, sir. It would be a great honor.
Yeah, Thank you so much. 2010, he came to Bangkok. He visited Global Talent Office. But now we will do a program at Indian Association of Thailand, Indian Thai Chamber of Commerce, and we have many bodies together. With that,
my pleasure.
And
thank you, DK.
General G, even during our workshop, you know, for women empowerment in Afghanistan, while we're doing the workshop, we heard a lot of gunfires. There's around zero in the military, always risky. You need to have a lot of courage. Thank you, sir.
And it was very tough, Khurana. I was the team leader and he was with me. We had 5 women with us from different parts of the world to conduct this program. Yeah,
excellent.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the best.
You,
God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless, sir. Thank you.
Good night, everybody, and good day in Western world. All the best and good luck. And God bless each one of us. And let's be good to human race. All the best. Bye-bye.
Come on, folks.